Hello everyone, and welcome to the first International Climate Change Criminal Court that we have here at the COP17. I've called you here on an urgent meeting because here we have a unique convergence of some of the biggest polluters in the world. We have big petroleum and polluters and the Umbrella Group, representing some of the biggest polluters in the world, and we're going to be putting them on trial in front of some of climate change's first-hand witnesses of climate change. Here we have Simon from the Pacific Islands and Sally from South Africa going to testify against these polluters and show you why climate change villains deserve to be tried and found guilty for abuses of human rights. So here we have the first witness from South Africa.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone. My name is Sally. I'm from South Africa. And in South Africa, I'm from the eastern part of South Africa, of which is in Mpumalanga as a province. I live in an area around Nelspruit called Numbi, and I'm one of the climate change victims. Numbi is a village located next to Kruger National Park, of which is a low veld, and the normal temperature in the past was in the range of 28 up to 30 degrees. But now it reached up to 45 degrees Celsius. These are very high temperatures and have greatly affected us. In the past 3 years, we were having the issue of strong winds that was blowing off roofs of main houses. The winds are so strong, they could uproof a tree. I don't talk about the sharks. They are all like a plastic ball. I'm crying for those families who can't even afford to rebuild their houses. They are begging and crying every moment. Sometimes it happens around Christmas and New Year times, but they think it's just the wind of witchcraft because they don't know anything about climate change. We were having women's and men's who were farming, but they all gave up because the dams have dried up due to the high temperatures and the lack of rain. The rights of those people of basic shelter, right of safety environment, and the children's are all violated because of the climate change crisis. Low-fell places are dying up because of climate change. It's a sad story of this innocent suffering. We need action right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I'd like to call the second witness. Representing big petroleum and polluters, can we have a big boo for our second witness?
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Gundula Schmidt-Bauer. I am an executive manager for Big Petroleum and Polluters, or BPP, and I'm here to defend our company. We have been portrayed as evil and greedy coal munchers, or as the judge termed it, carbon scoundrels. And although we are being labelled the villains in this tribunal, I would like to plead victim status to a certain degree. The projects in which we are involved at BPP aim merely to meet the energy needs of the global population. I think we are all aware of the exponential population growth over the past few decades, which has meant that demands for energy supply have increased hugely. We are committed to finding innovative methods of energy production in an attempt to meet these demands, while preserving the environment as well as the rights of the communities. We do not believe that we should be apologizing or confessing to any carbon crimes. We are providing people with cheap fossil energy. Unfortunately, here and there a coast is spoiled with oil, but considering the benefits of our practice, these incidences are minor glitches in the greater scheme of things. With regards to our contribution to climate change and global warming, and the claims that these are linked to the extreme weather changes experienced in various places, for example, the strong winds mentioned before in the province of South Africa, we deny any responsibility. According to 3% of scientists, global warming is a myth. Research has shown that these kinds of weather changes occur naturally over time, as we are living in an ever-evolving world. In the past, humans have adapted to these changes sufficiently. We believe that rather than making accusations against companies such as ours, we should be working together to find innovative solutions to cope with the extreme weather conditions we are experiencing. In order to sustain the trends of global development, we need to ensure that energy supply is sufficient, and BPP is committed to providing this energy. Thank you.
I would now like to call our third witness, representing the Umbrella Group.
Thank you for calling me to the stand. As a representative of the Umbrella Group, I welcome this opportunity to come clean about our commitment to climate justice and to speak on behalf of the 1%. Polluters, profiteers and politicians are the oppressed minority here at the UN climate talks in Durban. As you can see all around you, our voices are drowned out by civil society. These people outnumber us and they put trivial demands in the way of progress. They leave us with no choice but to talk amongst ourselves. While we work hard to make money grow on trees, they say put people before profit. While we work towards a 2020 vision of being totally committed to maybe perhaps acting together on climate change, they say we have no time, act now. Talk about unreasonable. We're not indifferent to concerns about the impact of climate change on communities even now. We promised a Green Climate Fund for adaptation in Cancun, and one day we might even find some money to fill it. Pretty good. Business as usual doesn't mean that we're not listening. Together, we've made great progress on innovative sources of climate finance. Although we've carried on polluting for now, we're subsidising clean and green development elsewhere and buying shares in nature as our investment in future generations. All around the world, we're helping the rich get richer, and eventually this will trickle down to the frontline affected communities. You just have to have a little bit more patience with us. We're not the bad guys here. We'd like to do more, but of course it's difficult to act alone, and besides, that wouldn't be fair. While we accept historical responsibility for climate change, we also feel it's important to live in the present. Sure, we're concerned that our planet and people are suffering, but we can't cut emissions and stay ahead of our competitors in the global economy. As governments committed to short-term solutions, that's our bottom line. We're open to the idea of a legally binding treaty that includes everyone eventually. But developing countries need to stop playing the guilty card and play their part too. We're all in this together. So am I guilty? I'd like to remind you that these climate talks are a place for pragmatism, not ideals. Our actions aren't perfect, but all things considered, I think it's fair to say that we're acting responsibly and doing the best we can. Thank you.
An interesting argument. I'd now like to call our last witness, representing the Pacific Islands, Simon Matafa.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 people, 14 lives from one family gone. 14 people, 14 lives from one family gone. 14 people from a village in Lalomanu in Samoa died when a tsunami hit the shores of Samoa in 2009. We all here have someone that we've lost, either a family member or a friend. But 14? 1-4, all at one time. In total, 149 people died from this horrific tsunami across the island. But just imagine 14 people from your family, your mum and dad, maybe your brother and sister, your cousins, aunties and uncles. Your Honor, who can I charge for the death of all these people? Who can I charge for such a horrific event? The tsunami or the water? Or perhaps the earthquake that triggered the tsunami? Your Honor, industries and nations are contributing to the natural dysfunction we are experiencing. People or corporations are getting away with murder. People are counting profits when others are counting lives wasted. To add further credence, Your Honor, these people are thieves, inhumane thieves. They've taken away the gift of life. They've stripped and stolen visions, potential, hopes and dreams. Your Honor, I don't want compensation. Money wouldn't bring them back. All I want is justice. It's a matter of survival on the Pacific Islands. Survival. Your Honor, I pay tribute to the 149 lives of my people that died in September 2009. The science is clear. Projections for the Pacific is alarming and we need to act now. We can't allow tsunamis to get bigger and stronger. If it pleases the court, I would like to sing a Samoan farewell song in remembrance of people, of my people who perished. The word tofa in Samoan means goodbye. This song is to remind the court, the jury, that this world and this world, that we too have the right to life. La le le, la le le, la le le le, o la le. Ai mo be se puao, ele tu mawai. A ua fa'atali mai, o Yesu o lo matai, le au na le, ina ulu fale mai, tofa oe, tofa oe, me se pailo tava, ia tafi mata lauma langa tofa, tofa ina oe. This is all to the people of Samoa. Tofa oe, and all of the world. Tofa oe, me sepa ilo tava, ia tafi mata lauma langa, tofa, tofa ina oe. Thank you.
Now, as we have heard all our witnesses and we are coming to the end of the proceedings today, I would like to turn it back into the audience and they can decide for themselves as members of the jury of the People's Court what they would like to achieve out of this tribunal.
Climate justice now.
Climate justice now. Climate justice now.
Thank you first of all for attending our first International Climate Change Court. But as you've all noticed, this is all pretend. But the witnesses that today spoke, it wasn't pretend. Climate change affects our lives every day. And when we're here wearing our I Love KP t-shirts and running between the ICC and the Deck Centre, what we need to remember is the reason we're here is not to discuss policy, but to actually deliver justice. Justice to these people who are affected by climate change every day. So keep that bit of humanity in you and remember these stories as we reach our last couple of days of COP. And remember why we're here. We're here for these people. Thank you.